Hey everybody, what's going on? You know who it is. Coach Howard coming to you on a Sunday evening. I kind of glad that I came on here tonight because my Dallas Cowboys were looking kind of rough to the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals was playing with such enthusiasm. It just really kind of teed me off. So I really was kind of ready to get away from that television. But hey, great weekend of football, some great college games that I'm going to go over with my guy. He's coming on in about a minute or 2 minutes. Jimmy Bell, former Buckeye, and my co host throughout this college football season. And I wouldn't want nobody else. He's my guy. Matter of fact, hey, Kev, if you got him there, bring my man on, man. Let's get this show started. There he is, the one and only Jay Beesky. What's going on, baby?
Hey, bro, I thought you was gonna cry like T.O. That's my co-host. That's my co-host. That's my quarterback.
Well, hey,
Good evening,
hey,
G. How you
listen,
doing,
man. How
OG?
how was your week last week?
Hey, man, your boy was hurting last week, man. I was after the well, we didn't do our show, but bro, last week your boy was sniffing and snarling and bro,
Did you have COVID?
sneezing.
Did you get
Nah, I don't
COVID?
know what that is, bro. Nah, bro. I'm a COVID. I defeat COVID, and I'm a COVID retractor. I don't know what it was, bro, but
Okay,
I got better though.
whatever you had something. So
I had something,
we know
man.
you
I had
had
something, so
something, right?
I had to bust out that juicer. You know what I'm saying? Get my watermelon, my pineapples, my key limes, you know what I'm saying? If I can get on my juicer for good, George, I'm gonna be sexy, baby. I'm gonna be out here. Listen, I'm gonna be out here disturbing the peace when I get sexy, bud.
They said they call you sexy big nasty anyway.
Someone knows me well.
Hey, listen. Um, Yesterday, two games I want to open up with. Let's talk about Colorado real quick. Um,
Yeah.
they came out, they played a team that was just better than them, a team that has established players, a team that is a good team on both sides of the football. And I just thought they were a better team than Colorado. What I did not like was what the head coach said yesterday before the game. I wish there was some kind of way that our producer could play that, but it was really crazy. I'm going to find it and play it, a matter of fact. But what he said was, to me, why would you say that? You knew you was being filmed. You knew it was right before the game. And then what he said after the game, you know, what did you think about those comments and what do you think about the game?
Well, let's be just very clear and honest. I'm the honest guy. I'm the honest dude. That's why I do local Buckeye media, and I probably am not the best because I tell the truth. But nonetheless, coming into this season, when it comes to Coach Prime in Colorado, I don't care how, but they could win the national title this year, and I still have zero expectations. How do you even consider having expectations for a team, for someone taking over a team in 6 months that has no modern history of being good? Last year they were 1-11. I think Dion now is the fifth coach in probably 6 years. There is no expectation for this team and this guy. So I don't care if they won the first three. I don't care if they surprise people. I don't care if they look good or they look bad. With that being said, I think it's hysterical. Of course, people wanted Coach Prime in Colorado to win, but the honest expectation is that they were they should have lost by 60. Literally, like not even exaggerating. That's a 60
So
win game from an established resourceful team that's built upon athleticism and speed that gets they don't get the top recruits. They're not juggernauts. Now I'm not tripping, but they're still in the mix, right? You got your big dogs, then you got everybody that's in the mix. They're in the mix when it comes to recruiting and ball. So would I have loved to see something different? Yeah, but oh man, I wasn't surprised at all. Supposed to look.
So,
You know what I thought was goofy? Is they exerted so much energy and emotion into Colorado. You feel me? I made a little funny post and I said, "Man, Coach Prime, did you get caught with this guy's fiance?" Because it was so overly emotional, over the top. And stop.
okay, I think
Before
I got it. I think
halftime,
I
we're
got
not
it right
done.
here. Jimmy, I think I got it right here. Let's see. Hold on.
Rooted in substance. Today, we talk with our pads. You talk to your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference, right? This game ain't gonna be played in Hollywood. It's gonna be played on the grass, right? It's gonna be played on the grass. Let's go.
Okay. So, Jimmy, then afterwards, he said a couple of things too, but I understand everything that you're saying
I didn't hear
because
the afterwards interview at all.
I don't think that um I don't think that anybody should have expected Colorado to win more than, I would say, 8 or 9 games. I've been saying that I think they'll go 500 or a game above 500 and they'll make a bowl game. Now, the question is, where are they going to go from here? You know, Deion is going to continue to be Deion because that's who Deion is. You know, he's a master motivator. You know, he truly believes, and he's going to continue to to have these kids believe. And trust me, he's going to bring in the players that he needs at the positions that he needs them in. And like he said, they better do it to him now and get happy with that because it's going to change. Your
This is
thoughts?
gonna be the worst we gonna look. And it's like, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. Where do they go from here? George, they continue the journey. They nowhere on earth, I bet you, that Deion not expect, but think that he was going to win every game, go to the national title. Prepare like it? Yes. Believe and expect like it? Conduct yourself like it? Yes. Have the heart of a champion as if? Absolutely. Well, the honest expectation is what it is. They look, the honesty is that their talent level and the honest expectation is somewhere in between what they looked like Saturday and what they look like against TCU. That's the reality of things, right? And that's what you got. Deion ain't tripping. He's not. That's why I'm telling people, man, that Oregon coach blew his wad. Like he made this a rivalry game when Colorado should literally be a lunch bucket and sweatsuit game. You know what I'm saying? Hey guys, this is
Yeah,
business as
yeah.
usual. Because I gotta save that emotional stuff. I gotta play USC. And I gotta play Utah and Washington State, who is probably a little closer of a rival. And I got Washington. And this is the funny part, where your whole palette was smothered in hypocrisy. We're We're not playing for clicks and likes. Bro, you invited the national TV into your pregame. What are you talking about? Bro, we're not, it's not about flash. Bro, you're at the sexiest Nike sponsored program on earth. Oh, you know what? Okay, George, my bad. I forgot the part where he said, because we're not going to be flashy anymore, we're going to go back to the old Oregon uniforms before Nike sponsored us. That's I missed that. Can you play that one? Of course not. So to me, I love the truth. Truth sets you free. So you put all of that truth in the table. You can't. This is why you were so excited. You can't say this is why I was all, because you do the same thing. So really, why are you so emotional? Why are you so upset that this coach is trying to do the best for his kids the same way you're trying to do what's best for your kids? How come you didn't say, hey man, I could totally understand coming in as a new coach, because last year we actually got beat worse by Georgia, my first year in, right? Because Georgia did. Georgia beat them, I think it was 48-3, if I'm not mistaken, his first year. So what makes you so different? Oh, you're in the club now. Nah, bro.
Hey, let's do this. Our special guest is on and he's waiting. And let's take a quick commercial break. And then as soon as we come back, we'll bring him right in. And I'll let you introduce your guy. And we'll be right back in about 60 seconds. Hey, welcome back, everybody. And we got a special guest that's waiting to come on. Like I said, each and every week, we're going to do our best to bring on a former Buckeye. We're going to talk Buckeye football, little high school football, and maybe some NFL at times. But right now, we have a special guest, former Buckeye. Jimmy, go ahead and introduce your guy, man.
OG, when you hit me up, you said, Jim, think about who we can get on the show. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had one person in mind for the first time out, to be honest with you. If there's anybody else that I would love to do and have done with before, but former Buckeye, former defensive line, former should have been offensive line, 13-year in the league, but he played defensive line at Ohio State University from Chi-Town, Illinois. Chi-Town to your heart, the smart, the intelligent, the opinionated. He's actually a father, a philanthropist, a businessman, and he just actually is one of the coaches for our Central Ohio, Westerville North team, and we had Coach Stan Jackson on last week. I'm going to introduce to everyone the incomparable Winfield Winnie Garnett.
He's crazy.
How you doing? Sorry about my camera.
What's going
on my phone because my. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Can you
can
hear
hear
Yeah, we
you
me?
and
got you.
see you, man.
Okay, so my
Can you?
laptop
Can,
wasn't cooperating, so I had to use my cell phone. How you guys gentlemen doing this evening?
we're
There you
doing
go. You
good,
perfect
man.
now.
How you
Wonderful. How
doing?
you doing, Big Glenn?
I'm licking my wounds after taking our first loss at the high school this weekend. Had a tough loss to our rival, but overall I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Hey, talk
Yeah.
about that. Let's talk about that loss only for a second. You guys went into the game undefeated, and you guys have been doing a great job overall. Taking you've already come in. You've taken a team that hasn't done well in the past. You guys have turned the whole program around. You've got these guys believing they can win, and you go into a big game against your rival, one of the biggest rivals in Central Ohio, and uh, you got outplayed on both sides of the ball. From what I understand, I didn't get to watch the game. Talk about that game and talk about Winfield. What you think this game did to your kids, this loss, and do you and them bouncing back from a loss like this?
Well, I don't know about being outplayed to that degree. It was an 8 point ball game, 21-13. But I feel the kids just learned a valuable lesson of rivalry. Right? No matter who has what record, a rivalry game is different than any other game. As Jimmy well knows, we know we went into Michigan at times, 11 or 8-4, 7-5, and we lost. So it's a different level of tenacity. It's a different level of intensity. And honestly, I think our kids didn't understand that. South has a history of being a winning program, and they were at the time before the game 3-2. So they knew that the loss for them, bringing them to 3-2, is a mass difference than being 4-2. Right, 3-3 is just a huge difference from being 4-2. So one of our kids talked to one of their kids, and they were locked in. And to me, our kids, honestly, to me, just didn't understand the intensity that game would be. And they've never been the hunted. They've always been the hunter. They've always been the one trying to upset another team. They've never in their history been the team that somebody else wants to upset. Somebody else wants to knock off. Somebody else is tired of hearing about the coaches and this and that. So I believe we started off a little slow, even though we scored on our first possession. So it was 7-0. We scored, drove right down the field and scored, but then we just began making mistakes. We caught a punt on the 6 yard line, and it got bobbled, or a low punt, and the punter ended up, his knee hit, so they got the ball on the 6 yard line. So that was the second score. So that was 14-0. And then they had a big play. And then after halftime, defensively, they only had one first down. We held them to no points and one first down in the entire second half. So we dominated the second half defensively, but then we struggled offensively. So, it just didn't go together. We never got all three phases of the football team going at once. And to me, it just was a lesson they needed to learn, considering, on defense, we had one returning starter. On offense, we probably have three or four. So it's a team of kids that never started last year, kids that were JV last year. Even though we do have a lot of talent, but they're young. Um, we have some Power Five kids, and they're only juniors, so they learned a lesson, and hopefully it made them better going down the road. Now that you're a team that has a winning record, and it's a different level of expectation, and people actually like get up for you and want to beat you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they ever experienced that before.
Jimmy, any questions for Winford?
Yeah, no, when I talked about it, but that's good, man. That's one of the incredible things about you guys stepping up to the challenge for this community and your guys' kids and other kids is that it's one thing for them to hear suggest subjectively those lessons from other people, but to hear it from Winfield Garnett, to hear it from Reggie Germany, to hear it from Paris, to hear it from um, uh, Marcus Ray. They may
Beanie
not have
Wells.
and Beanie Wells, a lot of other guys, they may not have accepted it or understood it. How kids are, darts are the same way. But when you go through it, it's like, ooh, we missed that. But you didn't just miss it, we got it. Right? That's what Deion's teaching these cats. Don't trip on the loss, learn the lesson. And again, that's the dope part about them. But Winfield, I talked about, that's what I said, bro. You guys probably did some dope stuff for you, but you guys may have ignited Westerville South because they haven't been able to figure this thing out since Rocky Pertello got fired. So they're still the same South, so to speak. They still got some guys, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So, by no means, I hope no one thought that it would be a cakewalk, even if you guys did win the game. But that's what a true rivalry is supposed to be about. And now it is, which is super dope for the entire community, which is super dope for Central Ohio.
Yeah,
And
hopefully we
the
learn from it. I
crazy,
mean, they've had some good seasons there. They've had some good seasons. They won 9 games, I think, 2 years ago. They have athletes at South. You know that when you go play South, they're going to have athletes. And I knew that they were better than their record. And hopefully, like you said, hopefully the kids learn from it, because it don't matter. Me and Stan and Beanie, and you can name them on and on and on. They have to experience it themselves. So yeah, we told them, man, the fire is hot, but they chose to put their finger on there and burn the fingertip and find out on their own. So now that they burnt the finger, they'll see. Yeah, coach was right. The fire is hot. So I think it'll make us better. You like to learn from a game and a win, right? You love to win a game, 22-21, and be able to learn that way and say, guys, I told you. But we learned from a game and a loss. So, it's a long season. We're still 5-1, which is a great start, but we got to finish it off. And we have a team that's undefeated this next game. And we right back up. Now it's gut check time. You right back up to another team that's undefeated. We played a team that was undefeated last week. We beat that team. We lost this week. Now we're right back up to a team that's 6-0. So, it's time to, if you want to be an elite or on your way to being an elite team, you got to make these wins, and you got to be able to bounce back from a defeat.
I think that you guys will get them prepared. I think you've got a lot of great minds over there, and I think that you guys will get them prepared, and I think Westerville North will be fine. I think that the kids may learn something. Sometimes it does. You hate to say that. You hate to say, well, it takes a loss. I'm glad we lost this game, whether it's in basketball, football, whatever, because you've been on this road. Sometimes kids that have never been through the fire, when they get to that fire, they can't handle it, and their head kind of swell up a little bit. We're 5-0, and their chest come out a little bit because they've never dealt with that. But I've seen it for years and years and years, and I think that you guys will get them back down and say, hey, now you see what'll happen when you're not prepared mentally. But I think Westerville North will be fine, Coach. And you guys are doing a great job over there. And
story job. I hope y'all got some
improve.
people videotaping y'all during the week, bruh, because it's going to be an incredible story.
Oh,
bro.
Jimmy.
I tell them it's not a story.
Jimmy.
I tell the kids it's not a story if you go 5-5. We won 5, but we gotta keep winning, man. That's the bottom line.
That's true. That's right. That's right. That's right.
But
You're
you
right.
know
You're
what
right.
though?
You're right.
It is if you guys end up winning your conference, and you that's a story right there. That's a story.
I agree.
From where this program has come from. You win a couple games in the playoffs. It's a story, man. And I hope somebody's following you guys and really taking some film of you guys. That would be one of the greatest, in Central Ohio highlight films, that you can possibly have, because you guys have come in there and really turned it around. But I'm not going to continue. We're not going to keep talking to you about Westerville North. We're going to hit you with some Buckeye stuff now. We know Westerville North is going to play another big game, but at least you're at home next week, right?
Correct. We got to win at home.
That's going to be a plus. Talk about your Buckeyes yesterday, man. What a win. What a win by your Buckeyes. And I'm going to give you Buckeyes my opinion real quick, and then you guys You guys give me your opinions. So I wasn't really impressed with McCord. Now, I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just saying for 3 quarters, I wasn't really that impressed with him. I just thought that he underthrew, overthrew, and just didn't hit some of the receivers in the right spots. I thought defensively we played well. Defensively, offensively we couldn't get it going. But Notre Dame played well defensively as well. So I thought it was two good teams that just battled, played a heck of a game by both teams. And Ohio State pulled it out, and McCord drove them down the field. When it counted, we had a flag or so that went our way. But that pass, that one long pass that he made, to me, that was the one that did it. But I'm happy, we got the win. You guys talk about the Buckeyes. I will tell you this: McCord went 21 for 37 for 240 yards. Henderson will have 14 carries for 104 yards, and in receivings, Ibuka had 7 receptions for 96 yards, and total yards, Ohio State at 366 compared to 351 for Notre Dame. Neither team had a turnover. Now, Notre Dame had more first downs than we did. They had 22 first downs compared to 19 first downs. Time of possession, this is interesting. Time of possession, Notre Dame at 35 actually minutes compared to our 25 minutes. And I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Um, so give me your opinions. What do you guys think of the game yesterday, and what do you think of McCord?
Go ahead, Schwinn.
Well, number one, I don't think we're fair to McCord because we've been so spoiled at the quarterback position over the last 10 years at this point of having people that end up being first round picks, and not only first round picks, top 10 picks. Our quarterback last year went second pick and just beat Trevor Lawrence today after throwing for 380 last week, coming in and winning a game today. So we've been just totally blessed, lucky, slash every other thing in the world. Great quarterback coach to have these quarterbacks and expect that a freshman is just going to come in and light it up. But going into the game, I don't know his statistics at the moment. He was throwing for 69%, like 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. At any other program, everybody be jumping for joy. But Ohio State, we like, oh, yeah, it's okay. You know. So, you beat a team 35 something at Ohio State. That's Western Michigan or whoever. We got to put up 70. So it's these expectations that are just through the roof, like crazy through the roof. So the kid's a 5-star. He's playing well. He's not making mistakes. In the normal realm of sports, if you have a young freshman to come in, that's what you want him to do. You want him to come in, not make mistakes, let the players make the plays, and don't be a freshman that's going to make us lose. But here, we expect a true freshman or maybe a redshirt freshman to come in and just like ball out, which can happen. We've been lucky, right? We've had a Stroud or so. But remember, how much did Jimmy used to know? They were killing Stroud his first 2 games. They were
Hey,
on
bro,
him.
they new Steve.
They were to get
New
rid of
Steve.
him.
Get him out of
They
here.
were ready to get rid of
He's the
Stroud the
worst.
first 2 games of the season. And so it's just like, we're just so unrealistic about these kids. The kid's not throwing picks. He's throwing touchdowns. He has a good percentage, and we won. As far as the whole team, you understand, last year we had the best offensive line in the country. This year we got a new offensive line.
Literally.
They're nowhere
Like
near
out
as
the door.
gigantic, and I don't know if they'll ever be as big or as good as that offensive line that has 2 dudes starting, both tackles starting in the NFL right now as rookies. So the line has to come together. Henderson last year, they killed him all year. The boy played with a broken foot. So now you got a healthy Henderson, and you already had Myron, and now you had a new kid, Chip. So, and now they're on Myron. We just so hard on these kids, but I just think the offense needs to come together. My only thing I always question is everybody's on the Notre Dame coach for saying what he said, but I agree. Sometimes we're not physical. We ran a jet sweep with 1 foot. What are
Oh
we
my
doing?
gosh.
Like, you got to
Hey,
be
well,
physical. You got to run the football. The way we won the game, We should have did that many times instead of we get too cute. We get too cute. So we do need to become more physical. I know we have these dynamic, unbelievable receivers, but we do need to be able to line up and run the ball. And
You
defensively,
know,
we're
Big
better.
Win.
We're more sound.
And
We're last
hold on
year
a
we were
second,
too
Win.
cute
Hold on.
on defense.
Can you hear me? Hold on one second. Let's stay on this offense. This is what I think. Everything you saying, I concur. I think last time we was on the show, I said, do you guys want a national title or do you want a number one pick at quarterback? Because you got to name me a, a top 10, name me your first round draft pick quarterback that has won the national title and his name's not Joey Burrow. You don't need a Hall of Fame quarterback to win a national title in college. You don't. Um, but I also think Coach Day mishandled this a little bit. It was his turn. I know that's how we played. When it's your turn, you play and you bust your tail for your turn to play. Now you could lose that if you don't step up to the plate, but I think he made the aesthetics look like Kyle couldn't play and that we had to create this battle. Well, part of that I think bro, people forget Coach Day's never been a head coach before. His whole staff, they've never been in control. Coach Myers been in control of this Bugatti. And then he like literally flipped the keys to him one day. And they like, bro, I don't know how to run. I've only driven with you when you've done stick shit. I don't know how to run it myself. So I think all of these different scenarios are new, even the play calling. I think it's all new. You see what I'm saying? How do we handle, you know what, we're supposed to handle a new quarterback this way. We got to protect. No, just do what you think is best for him. And then it'll all work itself out. But I think people forget Coach Day's a new head coach. You know, what is he in his fourth year? He's never been that before. He was never even expected to have it, right? Coach Meyer got sick. You know, people thought Coach Larry Johnson was going to be the guy. And then he gets this thing. So I think they're still trying to figure this thing out. And you're right. And we can say it however we want. We big as heck. The fans don't care. They want it to look and feel and taste a particular way. And if you don't give it to them that way, you know, then they're coming out with the pitchforks and the tiki torches. But go ahead
Hey,
about the
Yeah,
what
defense.
do y'all? Talk about. Let's talk about the defense. Um, let's talk about a guy right here in Central Ohio, Sonny Styles. How do y'all think he's fitting in? How do you think he had a big hit yesterday on a stop? Um, Talk about him and what you guys think of his progress thus far in starting this season.
Go ahead, Schwinn.
I think Sonny Styles' talent is through the roof. I mean, his athleticism, his size speed ratio, I mean, it's rare. I'm not even sure what Sonny Styles is eventually going to be because not only is his talent through the roof, the kid is a baby. Like he's 8, he just turned 18. He could be in high school.
Hey, bro,
So
he's a
his,
child.
he is a baby, and the kid is 6'4", 225, probably a 4'5", 40 type of kid. And I don't know what his body's gonna do. I think he might end up being a Micah Parsons or something. I don't know. He is huge. And I think they're doing it right because he's still learning football. That's what the bottom line. He's still learning football, and I
Exactly.
think he's going to be great. And he comes in, he makes great plays. To me, they probably could use him more, but I don't know how he's grasping the whole concept of the defense. And they're getting in the game a lot, and he plays a lot. But he's special. I mean, I just believe in the next. By the end of this season, he'll be great, and by next year, he'll be elite, unbelievable, and he'll be a top 10 pick. He's that special,
You on it.
and he's there. I don't know everything he does on an everyday, day to day to practice, but he might need some time for certain aspects of the game. Remember, you got a giant kid playing DB. I mean, a lot of space, and he's unbelievable talent. I think he's doing well, and he's showing up now. Last year, he just played sparingly, but he's making. Those how you see it when you see those kids come in at 18 and make splash plays. They normally pan out. I mean, and I don't believe he'll be any different. And he has all the measurables that'll make him a superstar.
Yeah. I tell Buckeye Nation, relax. like let him grow. People
Right.
people don't understand, and when obviously you do, and George, you're similar in basketball. Football is the same experiences. Is something in like, bro, like to play Northwestern 3 years in a row as a starter or 2 years in a row as a starter is unsurmountable, right? Experience is everything. Do you have your Sean Williams who can come in and light it up right off the bat? Yes, but that's not fair. That's not really fair for anybody. I spoke to the team last weekend, I think it was, and bro, the, the dude is giant. Like he's literally ginormous. And we played with freaks, like we played with freakazoids. And he walked up to me and introduced himself to me, and I'm like,
You're a
you can
DB.
tell he's a big defensive back, but bro, you hit it on the head, Winfield. And the reason why Ohio State got to be not Ohio State, but the fans be patient and let him, bro. He may end up being Micah Parsons. He is massive, and he is young, bro. I can see it in his eyes. Like he's young.
And
Like
Coach
he's a
Howard, as you
baby.
know from the basketball world, all these kids like to reclass and be older. This kid reclassed backwards. He left
I
high
know he's
school early.
yeah, I'm pretty close with the family, and that's my guy. Sonny's my guy, and he if he would have stayed his last year, if he would have stayed last year, Pick Central would have won this. They would have went undefeated and won the state again, hands down, because what he did with basketball was unbelievable. But he left early, a year early. You're right, reclassed, went in there, which is a good thing because he wouldn't be where he is today had he not done that. But you
Why?
No, you
see
still
Explain
get
more
that.
that
and more
No,
of
body
that.
explain
strong with
that
his
to me.
shirt off, and yeah, his
I never
physique.
understood the
Yeah,
reclassing
you can't get
down.
that done in high school.
Give me the advantage. I never understood the reclassing part, except for just to get started. What's the advantage for Sonny?
Go
Well,
ahead, Winfield. I'll let you talk
it's
on that,
many
then I'll
different
talk on
theories
it.
on that, but reclassing down is rare. But when you reclass down, you're basically saying, look, I'm not going to get better here. I might as well go to college, get in that strength program, that nutritional program. And it's the same reason
Okay,
why some kids go to IMG or wherever in basketball, wherever the case is, because they can't get me any better here. I might be a 7-footer in basketball and I'm going against kids 6'5" all the time. This was not going to make me better. So you go somewhere else and
I
stuff
got you.
like that. But
I got you.
it's
Okay,
negatives to it because you lose out on something about being a kid. You lose out on some prom. You lose out on some state championships and stuff that could put your legacy in your community at another level. I mean, his legacy would be even bigger if he was a state champion or he was Gatorade Player of the Year or all of these things. But then you have to do the plus minus as a parent. Those high school accolades, are they more important than you becoming Micah Parsons because you went to school and you hit the weight program, and you might get a national championship? So when you're a kid of that caliber, you got so many decisions to make, and it's plus and minus on both sides. And I don't think they made a mistake because to me, like a 18 right now, and football, the earlier you can get to that money, the better because you're not playing 20 years like basketball. So he made the right decision in my opinion.
I think had he stayed that last year, he'd have been Mr. Football. He would have won every award there was to win. He could have been Mr. Gatorade Player of the Year nationally, but there was nothing else for him to do. He was so far above everybody else. He was getting bored, I thought it was a great decision to make because he got a chance to go in there and learn and see how they practiced at the next level, see the work that they put in. His body was already above everybody else's. Then he just went and took his body to another level. And I thought it was great because now he could come out as a junior when actually he would only be a sophomore. So I think it was a great move for him. Some kids, it's not a good move for. I think some kids decide to leave early and they're not ready to leave early. And I've seen that happen to several kids too, as well, especially in basketball. So my thing in basketball, and then we're going to get back to football. But if you're going to reclass in football and you're going to go down and you're going to be a year older than everybody else, you better be pretty doggone better than everybody else. If that's what you're going to do, because if you're going to reclass and you're going to come down, and you better put that work in. If a kid's going to reclass and come in and put that work in, has a great work ethic taught by their fathers or whoever they're with, and they have gotten better and it's worth it, yes. But if you reclass and you're older than everybody, but you haven't gotten that much better, then to me, I think it's a waste. I have my feelings on reclassing. I've never been a big fan of it. And I've seen many people do it, and it hasn't really helped them. So hasn't really helped them at all.
You really got to pick the right organization to go to, because they have to they can't just want to get you. They literally have to be sensitive to the totality of your journey. Does that make sense? So they have to.
Yeah, but then a college, Jimmy, the right school is not going to let you reclass and come in there if you're not ready. The right school is going to say,
no, I'm just saying,
well,
but I get it.
Winfield, you're not ready. Right, Winfield, you're not ready to come in right now.
But
why don't you go ahead and finish that year
you
out?
Gentlemen are speaking of reclass. You gentlemen are speaking in the reclass in the rarest form, because we know reclass 99.9% of the time means the kid's allowed to be older, and that's what people are doing, right? And most of the time they're doing it because Johnny isn't tall enough, so we're going to reclass. Well, you ain't fooling nobody, but about a year, he still ain't going to grow. That stuff looks good in middle school and seventh grade and eighth grade. And if he ain't tall, he's not tall. You know what I mean? And reclassing down, the number one thing I think George was saying is you got to have a maturity. You got to have the maturity to reclass down. Now you a baby in locker room with 20-year-olds talking about stuff you ain't done and can't do and shouldn't be doing. And, so reclassing down is rare to rare. Bagley did it in basketball. It didn't work out for him. It worked out for him being the second pick, but it didn't work out for him in his career. So that's super duper rare to reclass down. When my kid came out, it was all about reclass. I didn't do it with mine. At the time, it was like kind of rare for people to reclass. It was starting to be a thing. But now, in basketball especially, and maybe it's Ohio, you are the minority if you didn't reclass. My son is the young. Both of my sons are the youngest on every team they're on, period. Every single time. So my son that's in 6th grade now, by basketball rules, he can play 4th grade games. So it's just tricky. That's a whole nother subject, as George knows. It gets annoying, but you just got to make the right decision. You got to make it for the right reasons. And because your kid didn't grow or your kid isn't as good as you thought he was, that's the reason why most people reclass, and that's the reason why it doesn't usually work out, because you were just trying to cheat the game anyway.
But you know what? We're not going to. We can sit here.
One more thing. My big point to it is that listen, I've been away for a while, and Winnie, I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't either. When they asked me to speak to the team,
and for everybody watching, him saying he been away doesn't mean he was incarcerated. He wasn't incarcerated. He just been away. I just want y'all to know that he wasn't incarcerated. So I don't want nobody to think he was incarcerated. It's just the way you said that, Jimmy. Well, I've been away for a while, and I'm back now. He wasn't incarcerated.
Absolutely,
I just want to get that out there.
Bro, that's the funniest thing you've ever said in your life, bro. But this is the thing. That environment over there, bro, he could do it, bro. They ain't like our stuff was professional. Our stuff was our stuff was handled like that, nurturing, the love, the we got your back. We didn't come up in that environment, George. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Urban even fosters that in our environment. Oh, bro, great decision in this environment. Great decision. Coach Day and these cats, they got his back, bro. Like, you can just, it's totally different over there.
Well,
Jack did the same. Hey, Winfield. Winfield, didn't Jack do the same thing? Jack Sawyer did the same thing.
Didn't go down.
Yes, he did.
Jack Sawyer, I believe, just skipped basketball season and went into school early. Sonny just cut a whole year off.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
You can
Yeah,
so
he
in
just
you
came
can
in
skip
early.
like basketball season and go to Ohio State in the winter, so that way you can do spring ball, but you still play
That's
four
what he
years of
did.
football.
Yeah, but Jack didn't even play his last senior year. He didn't go. He went to Ohio State. His senior year, he went to
Oh,
Ohio
he did
State.
the same thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did the same thing. Check it out,
So he
Jimmy.
had
Jack
one
did the
more year of
same
high
thing.
school left.
Hey,
He
bro,
didn't
check it
play no
out.
basketball that year.
Jack is a real outside linebacker defensive end, and Sonny bigger than him.
He ain't as thick, but yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
Jack, Jack to me, I'm not.
Hey, I got a special. Somebody sent me a special text for you, Winfield. They said, tell Winfield Garnett to bring his kids to the other side of Summit Road.
What is that? What's that?
You know who said that? You know who
Reynoldsburg.
said that? My
I
son.
Oh,
don't
they
know who
trying to
said
get you
it.
over there in Riddlesburg?
I don't know.
Hey, but he's
Hey,
laughing.
Reynoldsburg, man. I don't like speaking
He
on
said
other
he's just
programs, but they
he
they
said
got
he's
they
just
got a lot
joking.
of
He
good.
said he's just having fun with you. That's all.
No problem. No problem. But man, it's I didn't know Jack did that. I just thought Jack skipped, went to school early. But you know, it's this is a maturity thing. You have to trust that your 17-year-old kid can handle being around 21-year-old kids and make the good decisions. You know what I mean? And be mature. But the thing that helps Sonny is he's from here. His dad's a Buckeye. He has full access to that facility. Get in there, be on his son whenever he wants. And they know when your dad's a ex All American, they're gonna treat you with the utmost. They're not gonna give you anything, but they're going to nurture you just because of the relationship. So it's a perfect scenario for him. I don't know if that'll be the perfect scenario for anybody else. I don't know if that'll be the perfect scenario if Sonny didn't choose to do that at Ohio State. He's still home. He still can go see his mama at 15 minutes. So all of these things help for him. So for him, that his dad's former, 8, 10 year professional athlete, went to Ohio State, was an All-American linebacker. He's home. Like it for him is perfect because he's safe and he can be checked on at any minute, and you don't have to call and get reports. You can go right up there and see what's up with your son. If he needs it, and he may not even need that, but that's a different scenario than sending your son to, I'm just gonna say a hike like out to Las Vegas or Cali or Miami or moving you. You know what I mean? It's just perfect that they didn't have to move to do it. It was a good opportunity and it's working out for him. And I think he's a special kid and I met him. Of course, I know his dad is my boy, but that kid is just a good kid, man. It's just a perfect scenario. It's a good kid. We have a kid like that on our high school team right now. So
Yeah, he's hands on with his sons. He's hands on,
absolutely.
and they welcome him up there anytime. Winfield, how do you feel about NIL? What's your thoughts on the NIL and the way they do it, the way they allow it to happen? It seems like there's no discipline of it. It's like I tell you what, I talk to college coaches every day of my life. I had a conversation the other day, Winfield, with a college coach. I'm talking about basketball coaches. And he said, man, I'm just tired of this NIL. It drives me crazy. Because now, Jimmy, it's like when players come, especially the big time players, it's like, okay, one of the first questions they want to ask is, well,
How much?
how much can I get? Right. How much can I get at NIL? So he said to me, he said, man, I just hate this. I hate it. It's like, and this is a Power Five coach. It's like he said, we're in a bidding war. Like it's a bidding war. Like we sell our university, but it's also about how much money can we give them. And so I want your thoughts on that because I'm old school. I'm not a big fan of NIL. I do believe the kids should get paid, but I believe the university should pay them. And I'm not a big fan of the NIL. But what's your thoughts on that, Winfield?
Well, two things. First of all, in basketball, if you're talking All Americans, they've been under NIL for 20 years. Nobody just didn't say anything. So it ain't no big deal to them. McDonald's All America has been under NIL from day one. So let's just put that in the books. All right. So now
Why
let's
are you
drop it
talking about?
down to
I'm old school, and I
yeah.
didn't
Now
like
let's drop it down
NIL.
to the big
Well, I really
superstar kids, right?
listen. I really don't like it. I don't like. I mean, I know what's been happening for years, but I don't like the NIL. I just don't like it. I don't like it.
Now, what's
I don't
happened
like what it's
is
doing to
you
the
went
game.
from the top tier guys being NIL to every D1 kid, right? Every Power 5 kid. So coaches don't like. I like the fact that kids are getting paid. Do I like the way it's done, kind of ungoverned now? I think it could have more structure. I definitely do. But I definitely believe that this needed to happen because there was an opportunity for them to pay kids. And there was opportunity. It started off with give them an extra $25,000 a year, give them an extra 50,000, and everybody was appalled. Oh my God, 25,000! Oh my God, these Power Five schools would dive on a sword right now to give kids $50,000 a year salary. And the kids now, if you try to do it now, they'd fall on the ground laughing. 50,000? What? So they wanted to be greedy. They didn't want to pay these kids. They could at Ohio State. You could have paid those kids with what you make on a day of parking at Ohio State. A day of parking. Meanwhile, the coach is making 10 million, 20 million. So at the end of the day, I tell coaches this: I don't see any coaches' salaries dropping. You turn on the TV, instead of 2 games on, it's 12. Every channel got a football game on. Every team, every conference has a network. Big 10, Big 12, every Black
Every
College
streaming
Network.
service.
Everybody's getting paid, and these kids are getting paid. Child actors been getting paid since day one. Tennis stars been getting paid since day one. Every other, flute. If you play the flute, violin, you getting paid since day one. So don't. Why is it such an uproar? Because the athletes getting paid. But do I think it could be better structured? Absolutely. Do I think we need to do it in a way that's safe and start educating these kids and make them maybe take the same courses you got to take to be a financial advisor at Primerica? Yeah, I think so. I think these kids need to get that general education just like they want to be a financial advisor. I think they need to take certain classes and educate themselves. But do I think that they should be stopped from getting money in the free market? No, because these coaches are making a killing and they ain't never donated a penny back to giving them back to these kids, and their salaries are continuing to go up. Everything is continuing to go up. So nobody's being set. They just hate to have to negotiate with a kid about money. Well, giving a kid free room and board is over with. That was a fair deal in 1970. It's not a fair deal now when everything is a commercial and video games and T-shirts and this and that. And so, I mean, it is what it is. I think it needed to happen. Could it be structured better? Yes. I think the portal was more of a problem than NIL. But as far as kids getting paid, who is it hurting would be my question, except the guy that got to recruit and kiss more butt than he used to.
It's
Of course,
making the
coaches
coach a
hate it.
Jimmy,
I
what
coach.
do you
would too
think?
if I was a coach.
It's the same thing. It's just
What
making
do
the
you
coach a
think?
coach. Coaches are used to micromanaging and being able. Think about this. So I'm with Winnie with the transfer portal, but I'm fine for the transfer portal. But they have a problem adjusting the conversation. But to be honest with you, the universities still aren't paying the players. That's not what it's for. And the kids are still not taking full advantage of NIL, to be totally honest with you. They are trying to negotiate the prospect of a payment, right? What are you gonna what do you think I can get? As opposed to, hey man, I'm coming to your school, get out of my way. I already got a team. I'm from Chicago. We've already mapped out 200 businesses that would love to market at Ohio State. They can't afford it, but they're gonna pay me $1,000 a month for the next 4 years for me to market their business such and such and such. I think it's totally fair market. It has nothing. The coaches have dipped their foot into something that has nothing to do with them. To be totally honest with you, it's not a
And
college
truth be
thing
told,
yet.
Jimmy, as you know, it's not really NIL. It's just a matter of how much the boosters can come to in a pot and disperse. Nobody out.
100%.
These
And
kids aren't out here doing commercials. I mean, it's
and
basically
check it
a
out.
legal way of
If
paying kids, and it's how much
Yep.
you can
And if the
generate from a
colleges
booster.
would have stayed out of it, it would have Even if the boosters wanted to be, let that do what it does, and it would have smoothed itself out. But because they're so used to micromanaging, they made it as if they have something to do with it, instead of being like, "Hey guys, we don't really have anything to do with that." You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying
Kids
that's
just
I know that's
have
the
power
easiness
now.
of the conversation. Yep.
Jimmy, how many times
So
have
now you
you
got
heard a
to answer
coach
the
cuss
question.
a kid out? How many times have you heard a coach when we were playing cuss a kid out? You'll never play again. I'll send your butt back home to so and so. They'll never hear you again. Like I've heard
It
coaches
ain't
say
happening
the
now, buddy.
worst things you ever heard in your life to a kid because they had that much power over basically determining the rest of the kid's life. Right? So now you can't you tell a kid that he'll be out of there the next day. So it's like you don't have the
Absolutely.
same power. But guess what? We don't have the same power over our own kids because you can't crack your head kid upside the head in school and not get in trouble for it yourself.
For
We
acting
we
up.
all had to change the way we discipline our kids, the way we talk to our kids, the way it's a new world. Like I said, the traditional parenting has changed because you can't do this. The kids have more power and people have more power. What you do. So no, you can't treat kids any way you want to. No, you can't end a kid's career. No, coaches are people too. They do stuff. They have bad attitudes or take personal vendettas out against kids. I'm not saying that's the majority, but it definitely does happen. So, now kids just have options and they have all these things. And it is to their detriment at times. So what I'm saying is, George, I believe all of these things should be in place, but yes, I do believe that they should be governed better. They should have more structure and more rules, but I do believe they should exist.
OG.
Well, what do you think about, you know, the guys with the names getting paid so much, and the other guys, some of them not getting paid nothing?
That's life. We all sit here and dream of going into the NFL. That's the same thing that's gonna happen when you walk in the locker room. You're gonna be making 10 G's a week, and he's gonna be making 10 million a week. That's life. We all want to be a part of that world. We all go to bed every night trying to get to the professional athlete world, and that's what it is. You don't get paid what the next man gets paid.
Hey, Winnie, check this out. OG, I'm saying this to Winnie, but saying this to OG. Maybe the maybe the basketball locker room is a little different than the football locker room. But bro, we don't have that type of animosity in the football room. We understand the bureaucracy of the hierarchy. And it ain't never been an issue, bro. Like we ain't had that type of
And,
issue.
and that's why you see, even in the NFL, way before that, you always see, because I don't see this in basketball. I know they do it, but it's a big thing in football. The quarterbacks buy the offensive linemen cars and watches and this
Yeah.
and that because they know that they the Hollywood person and they know. So it's always that world. And in football, you like Jimmy said, you're dealing with 60, 70 different personalities. Basketball is 15, so it's a different level of jealousy. It's a different level of relationships that go on. It's not as clicked up because it's not so many people. But man, listen, these kids went from being dead broke, asking their mom for 20 and 40 bucks to getting thousands. Even the ones that aren't happy are happy. I mean, they we had roommates. These kids got their own apartment. They live great. I'm like, they live unbelievable. It's gonna make a lot of kids stay in college. I'll tell you that. Six, seven, fourth on down draft picks will play to seniors. These kids take
Wow.
pay cuts to go to the pros now. At big programs like Ohio State and Texas. So I mean, it has its good and it has its bad. I just think, like everything else, I think they need to put some rules on it. They need to put some limitations or structure on it. Same thing with the portal. I'm definitely not against the portal. I'm against a kid transferring 5, 6 times. That's ridiculous. But I definitely think
That was my next
yeah.
question to you about the portal. What do you think about the portal?
I'm just gonna make this up, but I think first time wherever you want, the second time limitations, and the third time that's the max. Like
There
maybe the
is no
first time you
third
could
time.
transfer. Okay, well
The third time,
these kids.
if you do the way the portal works, and I'm sure I don't know if you know, you can transfer twice. You can transfer twice, and after the second time, then you have to sit out a year.
But you can still do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the first time because coaches get fired, things happen. So a bad situation could have happened at a school. It's best for that kid to go to a new opportunity. Um, I'm not against it. Listen, we got two quarterbacks in the NFL that are where they are today because, you know, Burrow transferred and won a Heisman. Jalen Hurts transferred, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him. So, and we talking about players that weren't playing. Joe Burrow was on the bench, transferred and won the Heisman. So, I
Hey
mean,
guys, I'm
it's
sorry. I'm sorry. Hey Winfield, I'm sorry. We got a special guest that's jumping in right now. It's a surprise for you
Who's it?
guys. Bring him on in, Kevin. Let's bring in our guy.
Let's
go ahead, Big
go.
Zo. Hey,
What's up, my
Jimmy was
brother?
talking bad about you, but I protected you.
What's up, Chocolate
Yeah,
Thunder?
Go ahead and say the
What's
stuff
going
you were
on, big
saying,
guy?
Jimmy. He on the phone now. Don't change it up now.
Bro,
Go ahead and say
I
how you
ain't
been
seen my
agreeing
time.
to
You know
Jimmy.
what? Listen, hey, bro, people don't know. Zoe and I intimate. He played his last year. We played on the border. So I'm from Northeast Ohio on the border of Youngstown. He played on the other side in Western PA. So we have another level of intimacy. You know what I'm saying? We almost like homeboys. That's my guy. I ain't
It's
seen
all
him in a while,
good.
but
I
that's
don't
my
know.
dog right
I don't
there.
know if he likes that word intimacy, but I understand what you're trying
Yeah,
to say.
it was a little
And Zoe's a
tough.
freak.
It was a little
Listen,
tough.
Zoe's been a freak.
He
Intimacy is
might need
not his
another
problem.
word, so I don't know if you like the word
Yeah, it might
intimacy.
need another word. Yeah.
Hey Lorenzo,
Well,
man,
I'm
thanks for
married man
jumping
now.
on. Thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate you. I hit him up. Yeah, I wanted him to surprise you guys. I told him, I said, jump on. He said, now. I said, yeah, now. Jump on. Come on in. We was just talking, speaking of your son, talking about Ohio State. Couple quick questions for you. I'm honored to have, three former Buckeyes on the show. You know, how you think your son played yesterday? Let's just, Sonny. How you think Sonny played yesterday?
I mean, I think he's playing solid. I'm always going to be a dad and a coach more than anything. But I think all the guys are playing well. I think he's doing pretty good. I mean, like I said, I'm a dad and I'm critical of a lot of different things, but I mean, you can see he's out there playing solid.
Hey,
What
Zoe,
about that
since
hit
we
he had?
got you here,
That was a
what'd you
big
say?
hit yesterday on that. What was that, fourth down, or was that fourth down?
Yeah, that was a great play from him. He actually came from across the other side of the field and great read. Good anticipation and playing downhill. Just like a linebacker dad would expect.
Zoe,
You
I
listen,
met your
Joe like
boy.
me.
I
You
met
gotta
both
you
of
gotta
your
pull our
boys.
teeth to make us start saying they the greatest. So that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that's real hard. Yeah, they've been messing with that since AAU basketball. He might
Yeah,
jump up and touch them, block somebody's shot on top of the backboard, and I sit there, like that's supposed to happen.
right,
hey, hey,
right.
Zoe, I met both of your boys this last Sunday or the last or two, and I hit your wife up. I know you ain't on social media. I said I hit the boys up. She said they don't tell me nothing. I'm like, girl, we ain't telling you nothing. But but talk about the temperament, because I know you obviously, I know you really well. Talk about the temperament of your two boys, because I think again, Sonny is a little different because he's physically imposing like we ain't really seen in a long time, right? But what I
Hmm.
told the fellas, I said, but when I looked into Sonny's eyes, oh, Sonny's still young. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's not get it confused. You know what I'm saying? He ain't 22, 23 experienced yet. He's still a young cat. But he's taking on the challenge right alongside grown, in some ways, some grown men. Talk about
Hmm.
who your sons, both of them, actually are. Talk about the personalities and why this is even possible for them to be there at this time.
I think both of them, since a young age, they worked real hard. And we tried to instill that. My wife and I tried to instill the value of hard work and what it takes to be successful. So I think they just took on that role, and They accepted all the challenges that have been put in front of them, and that just allows them to be who they are, allows them to have the opportunity to excel. So, I would equate all that to the lessons that my wife and I have given them of, what it requires to be, out of school like Ohio State and the constant work that it takes. And as far as their personalities, I think one of them has qualities from both of me and my wife. My one son is outgoing, and he's and that's helped him in the building too, coming in from Notre Dame and being able to fit in with all the different guys because of his personality. And again, he showed that he'll go in and put in the hard work that it takes to be who everybody at Ohio State wants to be. So I think that's a good quality for him to have there, and that's helping him. And as far as Sonny, like you said, he is a opposing type of figure, 6'4", 230, and to run and play like he does. But he doesn't talk a lot, but he's going to give you everything he got and show you what he's doing with his actions. So, and again, all those athletes, how we look at it anyway, you got to show us how it's done. And if you give it to us, we're going to like you for how you get down. So I think that quality helps him there too.
So Lorenzo came over to Westerville, North Lake before the season and he brought both his boys, and he spoke to the team, and both of his boys spoke to the team, and they were so articulate and well mannered and just polished, and I was like, is this Lorenzo's sons? Like, because Lorenzo is they only know the Lorenzo, like that's what Lorenzo is now. Like this Lorenzo on this phone right now, that's who his kids are. But they don't know the combat boot, army pants, white Bronco Lorenzo I know. You know what I'm saying? And his kids are like, they don't know. I don't think they probably hear the stories when his boys come over and all that, but they ain't like that, man. They polished, they well. I'm not trying to say Lorenzo was the opposite, but they are just like
No, I was a little
pristine as far
different,
as their
man. I was a little
image
different,
No,
and their
and
you're
manners,
saying
and they just not,
you're saying it right. Lorenzo is the opposite. He's total opposite.
he not
But the one
not
thing,
now.
but the one
But
thing,
back
but
then,
the one thing,
Lorenzo took the fine sandpaper and he got all that rough stuff off. He got all that rough stuff off of them.
yeah,
It's like you do a good job, man.
that's what all good men do. They polish up and make sure that they pass on the correct things and not the wrong
That's
things
right.
to their children. So,
That's
Oh
right. Because them
God,
phones
sometimes
look
they may
glistening
speak
at
now. I was
themselves and
like,
be the
man,
wrong way.
I was trying to see if one of them was a little bit cocky, like the Dion, like a little. I ain't see it. I was like, okay, all
Nah,
right.
nah,
and
not at all.
Zoe coached both of my boys, and they both love him, and he was the only man. Well, there was only two of them. Randy Prentup and Lorenzo Styles was the only guys other than myself that could talk to my boys the way they did because not only was it okay with me, but I knew that both of them had my son's best interest, and that's one thing that's why that's my guy will always be my guy because he loves the kids and cares about the young men, and he pushes them to their limits. Some of them can handle it, some of them can't, but the ones that can, they go on to be successful, whether it's football or life or whatever. But
Absolutely.
uh,
And we
Lorenzo is a
copied
hell of a
Lorenzo,
coach
man.
too.
We copied Lorenzo because before I even had kids, I heard about Lorenzo in his little league, right? Before he had little league team, and he used to be on their butts, right? And I used to hear, and I knew the team was good. And then now I coach little league, and of course I'm on their butts harder than most people. And you listen, this whole world is about, taking away masculinity and taking away toughness. You can't do that, man. I mean, we all, of course, when we around the kids, we watch our mouth.
Right,
We say boo boo instead of whatever. You know what I'm saying?
right,
We know how to adapt, but at the end of the day, these kids, they look for, discipline. They look for somebody to be hard on them. And as long as you love them up after that and show them that you care, man, they appreciate it. Even if they don't get that at home, or even if their parents don't use that particular style, they love it, man. They actually love it. and it makes them better. I haven't seen it. So now some kids won't be able to take certain things in life, and that's the way it is. But the majority of them, it's always a positive. And I heard about Lorenzo, and he been doing that from day one, and we do the same thing. Me and Stan, and we all, I call Lorenzo and ask him questions, like, because he's going through some things with his kids that I feel like I'm gonna be going through in the future. And I'm gonna call him and ask him, all right, what you know about this and that. Each one teach one, man. So, me and Lorenzo always been tight. So I appreciate what he's doing and I admire it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. And like I always try to tell everybody, as far as when I'm coaching you, or whatever, I'm gonna cheer for you the same way I'm gonna correct you. So if I'm to correct you hard, I'm gonna cheer for you just as hard. So and like you said, as long as you passing that love around to them as well, most of them can take it. But if you're not passing that love with it, you only saying bringing up the negative and that light.
Right.
It's never going to really work for the kids because it's not going to permeate in their minds and in their spirit. So you have to cheer for them hard if you're going to coach them hard. And like I said, that makes a big difference on pretty much how they kind of can handle adversity. And when I coach a kid in practice, I try to make it harder than the game. So, there's no different than life. You try to make, situations that you can simulate and control, make them harder than they will the ones that they can't foresee coming. So that way they can take it and handle it.
All you guys are Jimmy Bell, you were a head coach at a high school. Winfield, you're coaching as well, and Lorenzo, you've been coaching for years. What has changed? Because it has changed, and the kid today compared to the kid, say 10 years ago, 7 years ago. Is it the parents, or what has changed? Because there is a different breed of kid out here now.
I think that the parents have changed a lot. So every generation claims the other generation was harder, right? When I was playing, even when Lorenzo was playing, they were talking about, we didn't get all this water. We didn't get fruit juices we in 3-a-days. We probably one of the only colleges ever to do it. And they were telling us that we were soft. Now, I think the big difference is now is the difference between what like me, Lorenzo, and Jimmy went through and what our coaches went through is much smaller than the difference is what we went through and what these kids go through, right? It's always easier generation after generation, but the separation now has just gotten huge. Like these kids get no discipline at home physically, right? Football and sports wise, everything is down. Like they'd have no tour days now, like zero. Um, so they, you if you yell at them, they're just intimidated. They're all in the mental health, and you attacking this and using words that I didn't know till I was 20, right? And so they read about stuff and they make self-diagnosis. They're doctors, they twist their ankle and they, coach, I broke this, and what? Like, how do you know that? Like, so I guess they're more informed than us, but they're informed, but they're novice
Who's
about what they're
soft?
informed about. They read something. So the separation between us and them is gigantic compared to, our coaches told us that we did things easier than that, but it wasn't this big of a separation. This is almost like one generation, but it's like 10 generations of separation because it's so much different than we were. And you have to adapt. And some coaches can't, right?
Exactly.
So I think I'm a hard coach. I think Lorenzo's a hard coach. I assume that Jimmy is, but we do know how to adapt, and we do know that we can. And as hard as we are on our kids, and I know Lorenzo the same way, we are 90% bark, right? We are 90% threats and bark, and 10% of actually like doing something because kids, we're hard on them verbally, but that's about it. So, I tell my kids, I say, listen, man, your hardest thing in life is me being on your butt. You don't have your atmosphere in hard, your life in hard, all these Nikes and this gear you got ain't hard. The whole video game collection you got ain't hard. You're riding around in luxury vehicle. So the only adversity you have in life is that your dad ain't taking nothing. He's gonna be on your butt. So they have to get over that because they're not getting spankings like we got. They're not getting popped in the head for this stuff like we did. So that's what I mean by 90% bark, Coach Howard. We don't actually crack our kids like we got cracked. I know I did. I know you did, Zoe, right? So we
No,
90%
no
bark. We
definitely.
physically are intimidating them because of our size and our aggression, and we make them do things, but it's not like we actually gonna haul off and whoop a kid or hit a kid or anything of that nature. So it's just mental. Like it's like when you go to the military and that sergeant is screaming down your throat and he's hard on you. He ain't gonna touch you, but he's just hard on you because he has to get this result, and he has to get this result in a short period of time. And he has to make you mentally tough and all of that. So you have to figure that out as a coach. How do I be hard on a modern kid, knowing that most of the stuff is just words, and I just got to get through to them. And like I think is what Lorenzo said, you got to love them up because these kids look for validation. So when you're hard on a kid and he does well, he better see that you are like happy for him. Otherwise, he's gonna be like, "Why am I doing this?" Because these kids are all about validation. That's why they put every picture on Instagram. They love likes. You have to give them likes. So if you're a coach and all you do is bang, 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 and don't give likes, it won't work.
Don't work.
We
But
got
you know
bang,
what
bang,
though?
bang. We didn't get likes.
But you
Even
know
even when
it's
we did this,
changed.
we didn't get the likes. That's the only thing I say. Now you have to get them that
Yeah,
like
but
button when
but
they
it's
do well.
changed. It's changed just over the last couple years. I mean, Lorenzo, you left for what, 2 years? Did
I
you leave for
have,
two
and
years?
I did. As like yeah, a year and a half, and what I'm finding now is, like Winfield did say though, the kids do play for likes and hits. Uh, you know, just 3, 4, 5 years ago, most of the kids they was out there, playing for scholarships or playing for the team and playing to get better. And you didn't have to persuade them so much to to try to do the right thing and care about what they're doing out there. Now you have to almost like you know persuade them to do the right thing for them. And like Winfield said, they don't really even know what they want. So you got to show them what they want and persuade them that this is the right thing to do and this is kind of how you do it. I had I'm not going to use a name or nothing, but I had one of the players tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, really, man? I'm just trying to tell you something for your own good, you know. And what I'm trying to explain to you is what you're doing now is not going to work at the next level. And you got all the talent in the world, but the wrong attitude will keep you held back. So, this is something I suggest you change. And again, I had to make adjustments, like Winfield said, I had to make adjustments to how I um, talk to the kids and how I persuade them to do the right things. I think it's coming around a little bit more, but again, I had to make an adjustment on, just like you said, Coach Howard, from a couple years ago of how I presented myself. So I don't know, times are changing for the good and the bad. It's good
Yeah,
that they're not
they
out there
couldn't,
practicing.
they couldn't handle you. They couldn't handle you now. Shoot, not the way you was about 4 or 5
You
years
sound
ago.
like a grandmother. You sound like
I'll
an
tell
old
you right
grandmother. That
now.
baby, they can't handle you, baby.
They
Now,
couldn't handle
Jimmy,
you, buddy.
Jimmy, you dipped into this high school world, but the things that coaches get
Hey,
in
but
trouble
listen,
for
where
now
Jimmy was,
is
Jimmy better not said nothing wrong. 'Cause
Hey,
Jimmy
bro,
was,
I would. Hey,
we
listen,
might
he
not have.
might have
I
Hey,
came up
was
listen,
so.
missing.
we might not have never seen Jimmy
Yeah, he might have
again.
came up missing, talking like out there like that.
Hey,
Yeah.
I
Oh
was doing
shoot!
it probably exactly how Zoe would probably do it. But Zoe, you ain't seen me in a while, bro. I look like I can play D line now, so I was using all of that to my advantage, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm like
Yeah,
walking into these spots, daring them. You know what I'm saying? Daring them. But,
yeah,
Yeah, but it is a different breed out here today, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped coaching about 4 years, 5 years ago, because it's just a totally different breed out here right now, man. And you can't really say much wrong, and then the parents, but that's another discussion for another day. So I'm not going to start that discussion because we'll be here for another hour. But listen, Zoe, What do you think about the Buckeyes, man? Your honest
Um,
opinion. I know you have to be. I know you have to be politically correct, but what's your honest opinion about the Buckeyes?
I think they're solid. That win yesterday was a big win for them. I mean, it might not have been the prettiest win, but to go in a hostile environment like that and come out on top, I think it bode well for them for going for later on down the road to kind of get us prepared for the last game there for the last game of the season, going up there to Michigan to play. But I think that
I'm
the
sorry. I'm
defense is
sorry,
playing.
Zoe. Zoe, I got to stop you real quick. You sound like a coach, bro. You sound like you one of the defensive coordinators over there. You sound like you're sitting in front of
Coach,
about.
Coach
You sound.
Howard, you
You
putting that
sound
man in
like
a hell of a position.
you
He can't
sound
say
like
much.
you're
And
sitting.
Lorenzo ain't known for biting
But
his
I
tongue,
mean,
but
but
he in a
now
position. He can't
one
say
thing y'all
much.
do know about
We
me.
gotta
One
watch
thing y'all
what
do
we
know
say,
about
but
me.
he really gotta watch what he says.
Well, one thing y'all know about me. If I
Go
say it
ahead,
once,
Zoe.
I'm gonna say it twice. I'm gonna speak my mind. And what I do think is that they are playing well. Obviously, I do think there's things that they can change and maneuver around a little bit, but I think the game. I think Kyle is doing well, and I think the last 4 minutes of that game, last 2 minutes, is going to bode well for what the offense is going to be able to do later on down the road.
Talk about Michigan, that team up north. Have you
I
watched them
haven't seen a
play?
lot of them, but I haven't seen a lot of them, but just knowing Harbaugh's history, even from the NFL, there's some things we're gonna have to tighten up on our run defense that Harbaugh can kind of exploit. So hopefully
Yeah,
they've seen that and they're gonna make some of the adjustments that kind of needs to happen there.
that's good, Zoe. One,
You
one thing,
came
the
back.
one way I
In,
put it, Zoe, is I told him, I said, because they don't have Michigan back yet, right? So they still don't have the accessibility to the talent like we do. I said, Michigan, I said, Jim built Michigan to beat us. Well, we work to win the national title every year. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that little extra grit and toughness and that son of a bee that we gotta have it for at least one game. Where they're literally
Yeah,
preparing for us to have it that
and I
game.
think and I think that it's
Excuse
not
me.
like it used to be, but I think they're getting back to some of that. I know
Super
for a
close.
fact that between my son and Mike Hall, though they have a throwback mentality. So it's like Big Winfield. Big do something Big Winfield if you want to out here. It's gonna it's gonna be some
What listen,
slow
I
singing and
tell you,
Zoe,
vibrating
I'm
in
like
that
Zoe,
you,
OT.
Zoe. I'm
why he
like you,
trying to
Zoe.
hey
Hold
Zoe, why he trying to put you on the line?
I'm like you, Zoe. I
Huh?
changed.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That's what grown men do. We grow up, learn to control that, turn that on down. But I
hey,
Man,
think
well,
that
I think Ohio State defense, man. I just to me last year we did a lot of stuff that was kind of like the offense, and we're not offense. We was too cute. We were too cute, and
yes.
dudes standing up that don't need to stand up, and guys being in 3-5-3 back to 4-2-5 back to the. I didn't even know what I could not even identify some of our fronts or our coverage or our
What we were
force
trying to
or
do.
our like
Well,
so
that's what
now
that's what
we
that's what
playing
that's what coach
solid,
is known for.
but in order for us to go past solid, some dudes got to move with a superstar level, and we don't have a guy that has
Hmm.
done that yet to take you. And hopefully, I think Sonny. I'm not gonna put that on him now because he's as I said before you got on here. He's still a youngster. He has a splash here and there, and I think that's gonna happen. I think hopefully by the end of the year, it'll be happening a lot, and by next year, I expect it to be happening like we know it's gonna happen. But I see it coming. But besides him,
Mm,
who's still a pup, one of those other dudes got to go from being a solid player to being a flat dog because we don't have the Bosa's or the whoever. Somebody got to just be the killer. Every Ohio State defense got that guy, and this one doesn't have that yet. And if we want to go to the next level, we need that guy. We need two of those that guys. Right now, we just
mm.
solid. We just steady Eddie. But that ain't gonna be good enough versus Michigans and Alabamas and all that. So it's young, and I do feel the defense is more sound, and I'm happy about that. But it's another level, as Zoe was basically saying we got to get to.
Yeah, and I think that Coach Knowles is really trying to understand, kind of what he's dealing with.
That
Coming
this ain't the
from a
Big
place
12.
like yeah, this is coming from a place like Duke where you have to, you got those guys who are the doctor type guys that you have to, have five different checks for something instead of just letting the guys just go. And I think he's doing a lot more of that now, just letting the guys go and realizing all he got to do is make sure the strategy is correct and everybody understands what they're supposed to be doing and keep it pretty simple. And I think he's doing a better job with that, this season.
It's dope that you said that,
Well,
though,
hey
because I
guys,
actually
man,
thought that the fellas were a tad bit slow for the first couple games. Not super slow, but you can tell they're out there thinking a little bit. But he made the adjustment last year. I give him credit for that. You can tell he tried to Big 12 it. Michigan obviously told him, bro, this ain't the Big 12, but he made a huge adjustment going into the playoffs. He should be commended for that. Not one of those coaches just gonna do it my way. You know what I'm saying?
hey, before I
He's
let you
turning it down.
guys
He's
go,
turning it down.
this is before I let you guys go, and I'm gonna let you guys go. This is the last question I have for you. This team to last year's team, what's the difference?
QB play. We were so used to having a seasoned quarterback at the helm that it's hard to watch now, knowing Marvis who he is, Becker's who he is, and watch the quarterback grow. But again, like I said, that last 2 minutes of that game yesterday, that's going to bode well for coming down the stretch. So I think the team is, I think that's the biggest difference.
I think the biggest
I'll
difference,
let,
I
let me
agree,
let me
is
let you go
QB play.
last, Winfield. Let me let you go
Go ahead.
last. Let you wrap it up. The offensive line is obvious. I think we just in the same way that we maybe underappreciated our quarterbacks, we underappreciated for 2 years. We had a dog offensive line, right? And I think and I don't know why this is because the guys are more experienced. And I've seen this when you're not expected to do something or you're the second dude, it's different from when you're the guy. Our defensive front isn't as active as it was last year. Them fellas was active last year. And even through that defense, they was active. They was getting after it. This year it looks like they're a little more reserved. So much so in the last two series of the Notre Dame game, somebody said, "Hey man, F this, y'all. I'm about to go play." And then we finally got some pressure from the front four. We got six defensive linemen between defensive linemen and defensive ends who can put it on without any blitzing. And we haven't seen that yet this year until the last couple series of that Notre Dame game. So I think there's something
They've been
there, and they'll
people
end
been
up
trying
working.
to people been trying to slow walk them though too, Jim. They've been trying to slow walk them and get the ball out quick and not let them really. You don't see a lot of 5-step drops. You didn't even see that
Yeah,
against Notre Dame.
yeah,
They went a lot of 5-7-step. Hold the ball padded. They getting that thing out quick.
that's true.
So it's
True,
hard.
very
It's hard
true.
to because
Yeah.
some of those are the same guys that was there last year. We really only lost one of
They're
the
the
key
exact
components
same
from them.
guys,
So
exact
to
same
me,
dudes.
that's what's let somebody try to tap the ball on them and and they're trying to keep our offense off the field because we can be explosive even though we got a young quarterback. So some of that kind
Right.
of play in it too.
That's fair.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off of what both of them say. Number one is the quarterback. We've been spoiled. We had superstar quarterbacks, right? And I'm not saying this kid won't be, but that's a big difference from going from a guy that's just is balling in the NFL right now as a rookie to a guy that's just learning. And then the second is that O line was dominant. When I went over there and one of the tackles was eating soup off my head, I said, "Oh, this some these dudes different." So like. Them dudes
Yeah, no
making me
doubt.
feel like a show. I was like, these dudes gigantic. And now
Yeah,
I think we back
yeah,
down to more, normal size, mere mortals. But I think they can be good. But those, don't sleep on how good those tackles were, man. They were very,
No.
very good. I mean, almost like Orlando and Corey type of situation. I'm not gonna put that on them all the way,
yeah,
but they were good. All right. So that makes when the tackles are that good, that makes everybody else's life easier. We got a healthy Henderson. I hope he can get back to that freshman level where he's explosive. People hated on him, but you try being a running back running on a broke foot, it's gonna make you make a lot of different decisions. So I feel like when he get his swag back, and then the number one thing on offense is we got to get the ball to them elite receivers, and we got to figure out a way to do that more often to get it to them. Defensively, we more sound. And from what Zoe said is kind of what I said in a less diplomatic way. We ain't as cute. Everything don't require 4 check with me's. Just go whip somebody ass. You know what I'm saying? So I think we more sound on defense. I think the D line is more physical than they were last year. We ain't got great pass rushers, but we got guys that can get there, and they have been getting rid of the ball quick. And our DBs aren't at that super elite level yet either. So we're just a team that's gonna come around. I think we're gonna get better. Beating Notre Dame was huge though, man, because they beat that team with heart. They beat that team with toughness and won at the end of the game. And I was so glad because I almost broke my TV when they ran a goddamn jet sweep with 1 yard.
Yeah,
That they ran that ball and won that game how they supposed to win that game. Because believe me, when they walked off that field after that jet sweep, that whole O line was mad and embarrassed and enraged that you called that.
They should have been.
And we Ohio State, you got to be able to get 1 yard, right? And the defense was mad too, right? You got to be. That's like Pete Carroll throwing that pass and winning that Super Bowl. Like if it's a yard, we got to get that. So I was glad we won. I think that win is going to carry them on, and I think they're going to end up being better. It's just not going to be the pure domination that they're used to. I think they're going to build their way up to it. And dudes like Sonny going to start making big plays and grabbing stuff and going to the house. Some of these young kids going to start popping, and you're going to start knowing their names, and we will get to that level. It's just going to take, throughout the season to get there.
I agree.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. Zoe, thanks for the surprise guest appearance. Jumping on. I text you, you hop right on. That's my dog, man.
Chocolate
Right on.
nasty.
I appreciate all of y'all, man. Thanks for the support on our end, and I'm glad all y'all doing your things. I love watching Zoe kids and Coach Howard.
So let me set. I'm gonna set this up for you,
thank all y'all.
Winfield. I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna set it up right now. Watch this, Jimmy. Second round of the playoffs. Pick Central, Westerville North. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna speak it into existence. And then we're gonna have them both back here, Jimmy, right after that game. And we can talk
love
about
to be
game.
there. We would love that.
Right, we do right now. Who y'all think gonna win? If it was right now, Westerville North and Pick Central.
That's why they play the game.
Me in trouble.
Who y'all
I'm
think?
always gonna go with my guys, but listen,
hey.
playing Pick Central, that's the most in recent history. That's the most historic program in Central Ohio. I would love to play them. I would love to be good enough to have the opportunity. They having a year that they ain't never had. They got to fight through some adversity themselves. So, I would love to get there and be able to play them. It would be a great, we know that most of the time when you take over high school, you got a couple of years to turn around. But with all the damn news articles and all that, we knew we had the pressure on our neck to do it immediately, which ain't realistic. But if we can finish this thing out and get to the level where we meet Pick Central in a playoff game, I would love it. I would love it. That would be great for our program, win or lose. But of course, I'm gonna pick us to win, man. Come on, stop playing.
Okay, there we go.
That's why they play the game. That's why they play the game. But I do think you guys over there doing a good job, and with that staff you guys got, I do see you guys making the playoffs. I don't know what that's going to look like, whatever, by the end of the season. But you guys been doing a great job over there, and I wouldn't expect anything less with that staff you got.
Well, I'm gonna call my guy. I'm gonna call my guy.
Buttering you up.
And see if he can set that up.
Butter you up.
You gotta get credit.
I done call Lorenzo. He dove deep into his kid. Lorenzo know every time I get a coaching job, everything always comes over. Man, I'm too busy, Win. I can, but he know I'm gonna call him.
No doubt.
I called him about
too busy. I appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks, Winfield Garnett and Lorenzo Styles. Jimmy and I appreciate you guys coming on, man, and we hope we can have you on in the future. And Lorenzo, good luck with the boys, man. The rest of the way, my love is right here. And good luck with Pick Central. Y'all got the big win the other day over Newark, and you got y'all got 5 more games. Both of you guys got 5 more games. 4.
Yeah, we one practice at a time over there, big guy. One practice at a time.
He said practice, not one game. We were practice.
Here we go.
That's what it takes.
We go. We're gonna leave that alone right now because we'll be here another 30 minutes. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
hey, thank you guys. Thank you
Love
guys for
both of
coming on,
y'all.
man. Y'all have a nice
Yeah,
evening, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right,
yeah.
thank you. All right. Bye.
Thank
Appreciate you both.
Jimmy.
Great
Hey, Jimmy, I had
surprise.
to.
Great
Hey,
surprise, bro.
yeah, I did that when I texted him and I said, "Look, I said, can you hop on right now with Winfield and Jimmy and I?" And he said, "Now." I said, "Yeah, now." Yeah.
Did he
So I
cuss?
tell you what
Did he
we
cuss
like,
in the text?
Jimmy. I want to get you on. When will you be in town on a Friday night?
I can figure it out, bro. This week is homecoming, so we ain't gonna do this week.
No, I'll be
So
out of
give me
town
off this
myself.
week.
So
Okay, then
what
let's.
about the
Then
following
after
week?
that, I'm free. I think I'm free.
I'd
Matter of
like
fact,
to.
I'm almost
I,
positive.
I'd like to have you do a game with us, man. Be a third wheel. Would be on air with us. We'll let you know what
Incredible.
game we're going to do.
Cool. And I'll let you know what my schedule is the next couple weeks.
All right, Jimmy. Once again, man. Hey, we had a heck of a show. We wrapped it up, man.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Powerful. Coach Howard, bro, you're a great gift giver, bro. Let me tell you, my size is 44 waist, 34 length. You know what I'm saying? When I'm fat, I'm a triple X shirt, but when I'm second, great gift. You gotta understand, I haven't seen Zoe in such a long time, bro. When I say we're intimate, I mean for real, bro. Like we go back, like we go between him, myself, Corey Stringer, Sean Daniels, Juan Port. Like we all pretty much came to Ohio State damn near together from that in Ohio, Western PA area. Pretty crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
A lot of history.
All right, man. Till we do this again next Sunday, I will talk to you here real soon, and we'll be all set. We gotta
Appreciate
make
you.
sure that every Sunday we gotta dig. I need you to dig deep into the archives, man. Let's bring on let's find a legend.
Okay, I got you. You know, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna
Yeah, I know
literally
you
think
are.
about it and figure it out.
You are the guy. So I appreciate you, man. And we will. Oh, Jimmy, you didn't give us Jimmy's top 10.
Oh, my college 20. I did put it out and I forgot to send it, but I did put it out. I did put my new play. What is it? Play in place poll. Perform
Do
play in
you have
place
them? Do you
poll.
have them with you? Do you have them with you, or we got to wait till next week?
No, I got it right now. You want to go through it right now? We got time? Or you want me to just send it over?
No, let's go ahead and do it real quick. Let's get it out the way.
All right. Hold on, let me get it.
So here we are. We're going to have to come up with a theme for this. Me and Kevin got to talk about it. We're going to have to come up with a theme. We're going to have to throw some music together. And this is going to be a segment of the show each and every Sunday. It's going to be Jimmy's top 20. But we got to come up with a name for it so we can get into it. And boom, there it is. His top 20.
And right now we're gonna do the top 10. Keep it at 10. And at number
Top
1,
10
we
tonight.
have Texas. Texas. They keep the spot because they're the only team that has beaten a top 3 team. So you got to give them the number 1 spot.
Jimmy, can we go back and start at 10 and come down to 1?
10. We got the University of Washington.
Woo!
University of Washington may be hottest teams that haven't played anybody right now, right? I would have given them credit for Michigan State, but Michigan State is in so much turmoil. The University of Georgia, like generally most SEC teams, they just haven't played anybody yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to come. They got to play
Georgia
LSU.
at 9?
They got to play Florida.
Dick.
Georgia, excuse me, usually I have Georgia at 11. I'm sorry. I have USC at number 9. USC at 9. The biggest team that they played right now was Cal. Cal wasn't defeated coming in, but listen, Cal is full of scholars. Come on, stop playing. Oklahoma, they're going to listen. When this thing pan out, watch out for Oklahoma. They're still one of the last Mohicans of the Big 12, and they just christened the University of Cincinnati coming into the conference during that parade this weekend. Well, Cincinnati wasn't ranked, so they didn't get too much farther up. Washington State, they actually played Oregon State, who was ranked, so they ended up jumping up because they performed, right? They played and they performed another team. The University of Oregon, they moved up because they also demolished the University of Colorado, who in my poll was actually number 3 previously. So they get credit for winning for winning that game. Duke, who is actually led by Pick Central himself, God, Dwayne Carter, with the Youngstown flowing in his blood because his dad is Dwayne Carter. Hey, listen, man. People thought it was a fluke when I said that top 5 spot since I put them up there. They are rolling, bro. It's going to be difficult to beat them in the ACC. Number 3, and what everybody in our area and our love has been waiting on, the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's an earned position. We beat the number 6 team in the doggone country. So if there's any earned position out there to this point in week 4, Ohio State has the most earned position because we're into the season. Everybody's kind of flowing now. We beat a legitimate number 6 team. And listen, just be honest with you, Notre Dame came to play, bro. They played -2 plays. They played about as perfect as they were going to play with what they had, bro. And they weren't scared, and they thought they were going to win that game from the beginning to the end. They didn't think they were going to lose that game. Then we have Florida State, and then we have the University of Texas. Those 2 teams, they do get the privilege of early Florida State beat LSU, so they get that credit. And obviously, Texas brought down the juggernaut, the godfather of them all, Alabama. But again, guys, it's the perform, play, and place poll. So every week, based upon who you play, this thing is going to change up.
All
That's
right,
the top
now
10.
that's Jimmy's top 10. Tune in
That's
next
the top
week.
10, baby.
Tune in next week because he'll come back with another top 10.
That's
Jimmy
right.
Bell. Thank you, Jimmy. Hey, man, I look forward
Appreciate
to
you
seeing you
guys.
next week. Appreciate you. Much love, brother. And I'll talk to you soon. We need a legend next week, Jimmy. A legend.
We're going to bring one to the table, too.
All right, man. I'll talk to you. Have a good week, Jimmy. Hey, that was my guy, Jimmy Bell, man. I tell you what, my co-host, I couldn't have nobody better. I enjoy us working together, talking together. He does a great job at what he does, and we make a great team. So, hey, listen, we'll be back next week, same time, 7 o'clock, with some special guests and Jimmy's top 10. And I look forward to seeing all of you again. Of course, I can't wait. Basketball season's right around the corner. I'll be reaching out to the high school coaches here real soon to talk to you about your upcoming seasons. And then I will have coaches on each and every week. And I'm going to find me a basketball co-host that knows as much, maybe as much about the game as I do. But I want to give a shout out to my favorite daughter, too, as I call her. Well, I have to, but you wouldn't understand. My baby, who's always supports me and watches my shows. Brianna, Daddy loves you. And thank you for supporting me. And until next week, I'll see everybody then. God bless you. Have a beautiful week. Be safe. Um, and remember, tell someone you love them because those 3 words may make their day. God bless you.